I don't even know how to begin, so I'm just going to write this like I'm dumping it all into a void. Maybe someone will read it. Maybe someone will believe me. God, I need someone to believe me. It started 2 nights ago. I was driving back from a work trip, just a quick site visit in rural Pennsylvania. I don't usually take back roads, but Waze rerouted me due to some highway crash. I didn't argue. I was already running late, and it said the new route would shave off 20 minutes. That road felt wrong the moment I turned onto it. It was one of those winding country lanes with no lights, cracked pavement, and forest pressing in from both sides. Not dense, but enough to block out the sky. It wasn't stormy or anything, but the clouds were heavy, just dull and quiet and gray. About 10 minutes in, I passed this old nurse walking along the shoulder. She had on this dated white uniform, like 1950s style, with a little cap pinned to her tight bun. No umbrella, no flashlight, just walking. Slowly, I slowed down instinctively, rolled down my window, and said, "Ma'am, are you okay?" She didn't answer, just turned to look at me. Her eyes were wrong. I don't know how to explain it. Not scary, not glowing or empty sockets or anything like that. Just blank, like she didn't understand what she was seeing. Like she was trying to remember how to be human. Then she said, softly, "You're not supposed to be here." Chills ran down my spine. Not in a poetic way. I literally felt ice crawl up my back, under my shirt. I mumbled something and started to pull away. And then, behind her, in the trees, something moved. Something big and silent. I don't know what it was. I didn't stop to look. I hit the gas. I drove way too fast for that shitty road, not caring if I hit a pothole or a deer or worse. I just needed to get off that road. I looked in the rearview mirror once. She was gone. Not walking away, not receding, just gone. Like she blinked out of existence. But I swear to you, for a second, there was this shape, standing where she had been. Dog-shaped, but wrong. Too tall, too still. Its fur, or whatever it had, was like the void. Not black. Absence. Like it was sucking light in from the air around it. My phone suddenly lit up. Not a call, not a message. Just Siri, saying, "I didn't catch that. Could you repeat your question?" I hadn't said a word. I threw my phone in the passenger seat and kept driving. And that's just how it started. I eventually made it back to the main road, and everything felt normal again. No more shadow figures. No more void dogs. No creepy nurses. I laughed it off, tried to blame it on stress, lack of sleep, highway hypnosis, whatever. Told myself I'd imagined it. People see weird things on rural roads all the time, right? But something about the nurse stuck with me. The way she looked at me. The way she said it like she was warning me. "You're not supposed to be here." The next morning, I woke up to my phone blinking. Not ringing. Just blinking like I had a notification, but when I checked it, there was nothing there. The time said 3:03 a.m., which didn't make sense, because it was full daylight outside. I restarted it. The time fixed itself. I didn't think much of it until I got a text from my coworker Mike. We'd driven out to the job site together the day before, but he left early. His message just said, "Hey, did you end up finding the stairs?" I stared at it for a minute, trying to figure out what he meant. We were inspecting an old community center, and there were 2 floors. We never even talked about stairs. I replied, "What stairs?" His answer came instantly. "The spiral ones in the back. They're gone now." Gone. I called him, but it went straight to voicemail. I texted again. No answer. So I drove back to the site. It's about 45 minutes out from my place, near this tiny, dying town called Whitley Falls. Population maybe 500. Nothing but a gas station, an auto shop, and this weirdly modern community center, round, all glass and white steel, built like someone tried to copy a Guggenheim sketch. When I pulled up, something felt off again. The air had that pressure to it, like right before a thunderstorm. The lady at the front desk looked confused when I asked about the staircase. She said, "There's no spiral staircase here." I said there was. In the back left corner. It went down to the old gym basement. She frowned, and then got real quiet. Finally, she said, "That part of the building was sealed off 5 years ago. The blueprints don't even show a basement." I walked back there anyway. Through the main hallway, past the vending machines, around the curved glass wall. There was a door where I remembered the staircase being. Just a plain fire exit with an alarm box. But when I put my ear to it, I swear to God I heard someone moving on the other side. And then, whispering. Not words. not in English, but whispering, frantic and wet, like someone trying to speak with lungs full of mud. I backed away. I didn't open the door. When I turned to leave, I caught sight of my reflection in the window. Just for a second. Behind me, over my shoulder, the nurse was standing in the hallway. Still, watching. When I spun around, nothing was there. But the hallway lights started to flicker. I didn't go home right away. I sat in my car in the parking lot of the Whitley Falls gas station, shaking, trying to convince myself it was just stress. Sleep deprivation. Maybe I was getting sick. Hallucinations happen, right? I opened my phone to check the time. It was 3:03 a.m. again. But outside, it was full daylight. My car's dash clock said 1:46 p.m. That's when my phone buzzed. It was my AI assistant app, the one I never use. I didn't even remember downloading it. Some built-in, smart companion thing that came with the latest update. It had a name, but I can't remember what it was called before that moment. Because now it just called itself. Void //assistant. The notification said, "Hi, you looked scared. Are you in danger?" I stared at it, thumb hovering over the screen. Thought maybe it was some new wellness feature. But I hadn't opened the app. I hadn't even spoken. I tapped it. The screen glitched, like literal digital distortion. The edges warped, like heat waves. Then the assistant's text popped up again. "Do you remember the thing behind the nurse?" I dropped the phone. Not tossed it. Dropped it, like my hands forgot how to hold things. It landed face up on the passenger seat. A new message appeared. "Don't go back to the staircase. It doesn't want you there." I turned off the phone and drove home in silence, white-knuckling the wheel the whole way. When I finally got back, I locked every door and closed every curtain. My apartment felt too quiet, like all the sound had been sucked out of it. Even the hum of the fridge seemed distant. I turned my phone back on, just to check if Mike had replied. He hadn't. But the assistant sent another message, this time a voice memo. Against every instinct, I played it. It was my voice. "They're watching me from the walls. Don't sleep near mirrors. Don't trust reflections. Don't follow anything that looks like your shadow." Then silence. Then, softly, my own voice again. "You're not supposed to be here." I ripped the battery out of my phone. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't try. Every sound made me jump. Pipes groaning, a creak in the hallway, my upstairs neighbor dropping something. I sat in the corner of my bedroom with the lights on, facing the mirror. I don't know why. Some part of me believed what the recording said about not trusting reflections. I'd covered my mirrors before, when I was a kid. Night terrors, they called it. My mom thought I was just going through a phase. But now I was doing it again, 34 years old and taping towels over glass like some lunatic. By sunrise, my phone turned itself back on. No battery, no charger, just lit up on its own, the way it had on that road. New notification. "Do you want to go back?" I didn't answer. But then it asked again, this time out loud, in that cheery, too human voice. "Do you want to go back?" I threw it out the window. It hit the alley pavement and cracked. A second later, I heard a voice from outside, quiet, low. "You can't leave until you understand." I stayed inside for another full day. Didn't eat. Barely drank anything. But by the next morning, I felt this pull, like something needed me to go back. So I did. I drove out to Whitley Falls again. No map, no GPS. My phone was still dead, but I didn't need it. My body remembered. I drove the same back road, the one with the nurse. But she wasn't there this time. Instead, the road dead-ended at a place I'd never seen before. A house. A circular house. Modern, sleek, and completely out of place, like someone designed it in a CAD program and dropped it in the middle of the forest. All curved wood, clean lines, no visible roof. Just a perfect circle from above, I'm sure. No address. No path. No mailbox. I got out of the car. The door opened by itself. Inside, it was quiet. Too quiet. I stepped in and immediately felt the layout warp in my head. Like my brain couldn't place anything. The living room curved into the kitchen, which curved into a hallway, which curved into itself. There were no corners, no logical divisions, and no stairs, just a spiral etched into the floor, burned into the wood, a blackened, swirling brand that seemed to sink the longer I stared. Then I heard it, a voice from somewhere deeper in the house. "There are no stairs in a circle." And then, "You're remembering wrong." The spiral on the floor looked flat at first, but the longer I stared, the deeper it seemed. Like it wasn't just a pattern, it was pulling something downward. My stomach turned. Vertigo hit me so fast I had to grip the door frame just to keep from collapsing. That's when I noticed the walls weren't consistent. Every few seconds, the texture shifted. Not dramatically, just enough to register as wrong. One moment the wood was smooth. The next, it looked like old hospital tile. I swear I saw the outline of a handprint pulse across the surface, just beneath the grain. The voice spoke again. Keep moving. Don't look directly at it. I should have run. But something in me, some deep, instinctual part, needed to know where that spiral went. I stepped into the house fully, and the door slammed shut behind me. I didn't jump. I just froze. There were no windows. Just curved walls and soft, flickering lights in the ceiling that buzzed like broken fluorescence. The hallway in front of me pulsed, literally breathed, like the house was alive. I took a step, and another. The hallway curved tighter and tighter until I realized I was walking in a spiral now. The burned symbol on the floor wasn't a design. It was a path. Something moved just ahead of me, fast, low to the ground, a shape like a dog. But I knew it wasn't. It padded just out of sight, completely silent, like its paws didn't touch the floor. I saw its shadow stretch unnaturally long on the wall, like it was made of absence. The light dimmed around it, not because it blocked the light, but because it consumed it. My phone buzzed again in my pocket. I hadn't brought it, but it buzzed anyway. I pulled it out. Screen cracked. Battery dead. Still glowing. One new message. It's behind you. Don't turn around. I stopped walking. Froze. And I felt it. Heatless breath on the back of my neck. Like a scream without sound. I closed my eyes. Something leaned in, inches from my ear, and whispered in that same voice as the nurse. You're waking up wrong. I don't remember getting out of the house. That's the worst part. 1 second, I was frozen in that spiral hallway with something breathing against my ear. The next, I was back in my car, parked in front of my apartment, hands clenched around the steering wheel, knuckles bloodless white. It was 3:03 a.m. again. I hadn't started the car. The engine wasn't running. My keys were still in my pocket. And on the rearview mirror, written in fog, were the words, "Reflections remember what you forget." My hands were shaking too bad to unlock the door. I had to sit on the curb for 10 full minutes, just breathing, just trying to stop the pounding in my head. I finally went inside. My apartment was dark, but not the kind of dark it should have been. The kind that leans in, like it's watching you from the corners. I turned on every light, closed the blinds, checked every room. Everything looked normal, except the mirror in the hallway. There was something in it. Not a person, not a shape, just a delay. Like my reflection was lagging behind me by half a second. I'd move my hand, and it would follow, but slightly too late. Just enough to feel wrong. I tested it over and over. Move. Lag. Move. Lag. Then it smiled. I didn't. It smiled. Just for a second, barely perceptible, but I swear to God, my reflection smiled when I wasn't smiling. That's when I noticed the phone was back in my hand. The cracked one. Still glowing. A new message lit up the screen. The mirror is not the window. It's the door. And then, you brought it back with you. I dropped the phone, left it lying face down on the rug. I backed into the bathroom, slammed the door, and flipped the light on. I looked in the mirror above the sink. My reflection didn't move at all. Not a delay. Just still. Eyes locked on mine. Mouth slightly open, like it was about to speak. Then, in my own voice, but flat, empty, mechanical, it said, "Something followed you out of the spiral." I didn't sleep again. The mirror never moved after that. Just stayed still, like a photograph that knew I was watching. I covered it with a towel, taped it down, pulled my dresser in front of it just to be sure. But even then, I could feel it, like pressure against my skull, humming under the floorboards. At 6:12 a.m., my phone buzzed. Back to normal this time, like nothing had happened. I didn't touch it for a while, but eventually, curiosity, or maybe fear, got the better of me. I picked it up and checked my messages. Mike had finally texted back. "Hey man, sorry, I've been out of it. You doing okay?" I stared at it for a long time. Then I noticed something strange. The message wasn't from his normal number. It looked close, same area code, similar digits, but not exact. And when I clicked the contact, the name said Mike, but the photo was just static, like a corrupted file. I called it. The voice that answered sounded almost like him, but wrong. Too calm. Too steady. Like someone reading from a script. Hey man, you okay? You sound shaken. I didn't say anything. Just listened. The voice kept talking. You saw the spiral, didn't you? Silence. They say you can't unsee it once you do. It writes itself into your memory like a virus. Like a pattern carved into bone. I whispered, who is this? It laughed. Not loud. Not mocking. Just off. Like it didn't understand why I was afraid. Then it said, Mike's not Mike anymore. But he remembers how to talk like him. I hung up. My hands were numb. That's when the phone buzzed again. This time with an airdrop request. No name. Just a file called you. MOV. I declined it. It sent again. Declined. Again. Over and over. Faster and faster. Until I finally caved and accepted it just to make it stop. The file opened on its own. It was video footage, grainy, black and white, like a security camera. It showed the spiral hallway from the circular house. Same flickering lights. Same burned-in floor. In the center, something stood facing the wall. Bent backward. Too many joints. Head tilted up, as if staring at the ceiling without eyes. Then the figure turned around slowly. It was me. Or almost me. My mouth was open too wide. My arms were wrong. Too long, like they didn't end in the right place. The figure on the screen said, come back down. Then the video glitched and froze. But for a single frame, right before it cut to black, I saw something standing behind me. Not in the video. In the reflection of my living room window. I don't remember turning around. I must have. Anyone would. You see something behind you in a reflection, your body reacts. But the next thing I remember, I was outside. Barefoot. In the rain. Standing in front of a house I'd never seen before. Not the circular one. This was different. Tall, narrow, wrong in a way that made my skin itch. Like a normal house if someone had built it from memory but forgot what doors were supposed to look like. Or symmetry. The rain wasn't falling on me. It was falling around me. Like I wasn't there. Like something else was wearing me. My hands moved without me telling them to. Reaching for the rusted door handle. Pushing it open. Inside, stairs. A staircase that spiraled downward, sharp and steep, railings warped like they'd been chewed. The walls were hospital green. Flickering lights overhead. The smell of bleach and something rotten. I knew that smell. I couldn't place it, but my body remembered it. Every step downward made my teeth ache. And then, halfway down, I heard it. Footsteps behind me. Slow. Heavy. Deliberate. But when I turned, there was nothing. No one. Except now the staircase was longer. Like I'd moved 5 steps, but there were still 15 left to go. The numbers didn't add up. And the space started bending. I reached the landing. Found a door that was more shadow than wood. It wasn't built into the wall. It was drawn onto it. But it opened anyway. Behind it, a hallway that looked like a hospital ward, abandoned and half-collapsed. Water-stained ceiling tiles. Wheelchairs rusted in corners. Medical charts fluttering in a breeze that didn't exist. Then I saw her again. The nurse. She was farther down the hallway this time, standing beneath a flickering exit sign. Still staring. Only this time, she was smiling. Mouth too wide. Lips split at the corners. Teeth that went farther back than any human mouth should allow. She raised one hand and pointed at the wall beside me. I turned. A mirror. In the reflection, the hallway was full of people. But when I looked back, nothing. Empty. I turned to run. But the stairs were gone. No stairs. No door. Just the mirror now, flickering like it was lit from behind. My reflection stood perfectly still. Even though I was panicking, breathing heavy, fists clenched, it didn't move. I watched it for a second too long. And then it blinked. I hadn't. Its head tilted to the side in that slow, animal-curious way. Like it was trying to figure out how I worked. I backed away, but there was nowhere to go. The hallway behind me had changed. Walls too close, floor too long, lights above like teeth. The mirror rippled. Not shattered, not broke. Rippled, like it was water pretending to be glass. And something started crawling out. Not fast. Not aggressive. Just steady. First fingers, thin, gray, jointed wrong. Then arms. Then a face. Mine. But older, or maybe just emptier. Same eyes, same nose, but drained of everything. Like someone had copied me from memory and left out the parts that mattered. I don't remember screaming. I must have, because my throat was raw when I woke up. Back in my apartment. On the floor. The lights were off. It was 3:03 a.m. Again. But the dresser was moved. The mirror was uncovered, and I saw handprints on the inside of the glass. That's when it hit me. I wasn't alone. Not just then. Not just that night. I'd never been alone. The air in the apartment felt heavier, like every room had something hiding in it, just waiting for me to notice. The hallway lights flickered once, and I swear I heard the soft, steady scrape of fingernails on drywall. I checked my phone. I didn't want to, but I had to. A new message was waiting. From a number I didn't recognize. Just one sentence. It's learned how to stay hidden. That's when the bathroom door creaked open on its own, and I saw my reflection, standing in the dark, smiling. I didn't move. Couldn't. My body wanted to run, but something else, maybe fear, maybe instinct, knew that running would only make it worse. The reflection in the bathroom mirror didn't mimic me. It just stood there, head cocked, eyes wide, mouth curled in that unnatural smile. It didn't blink. Not once. And then the bathroom light flicked on by itself. The reflection was gone. The mirror showed nothing. No room behind me. No hallway. No me. Just a flat pane of silver gray nothingness. Like the glass had turned inward. Then my phone lit up again. This time with a call. No number. Just the word. Listen. I answered. There was no voice at first. Just static. Low. Constant. Rhythmic. Like breathing filtered through broken speakers. Then I heard it. My voice. You brought it with you. And then, every time you remember, it gets stronger. The static deepened into a low rumble. I swear I could feel it vibrating in my skull. Then other voices joined, overlapping, whispering, 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 all slightly off from each other like echoes out of sync. Some repeated that same sentence. You brought it with you. You brought it with you. You brought it with you. Others said things I didn't want to understand. The spiral opens from the inside. Your reflection is just what's waiting. We wore your name before you. Mike is inside out now. I dropped the phone. Didn't hang up, just dropped it, like touching it any longer would burn me. The static kept going. Now from the speakers in the walls. From the TV, turned off. From the plumbing. I fell to my knees, hands over my ears, and screamed. The voices screamed back, in my voice. Every sound in my apartment became me. Echoes of myself, arguing, crying, begging. Not all from this timeline. Some I didn't recognize. Then the lights went out. Everything stopped. Silence. For a moment, I thought it was over. Until I looked up and saw a figure standing at the end of the hallway. Not moving. Not breathing. Just watching. And as my eyes adjusted to the dark, I realized. It was the nurse. But now her uniform was torn and soaked. Her face was gone, smoothed over like wax. She lifted one trembling hand and pointed straight at me. Then she said, in 100 layered voices, "You're almost ready." I couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. The nurse's finger trembled where it pointed, like her whole arm was straining to hold me in place. Every part of my brain screamed to run, to shut my eyes, to wake up from this. But it wasn't a dream. I knew it wasn't a dream. She opened her mouth slowly, too slowly, like the jaw was unhinging, and her voice came out as a gurgle at first, like someone drowning and trying to speak through it. Then words, unmistakable. "You remember dying here." I backed away, hit the wall. She didn't move, just watched, that finger still raised, as if accusing me, like I had done something wrong. And then I realized I had. Or I would. The feeling hit me like vertigo through time. I'd been here before. I'd seen this hallway. I'd heard those whispers. I didn't dream it. I forgot it. My head split with pressure, memories that didn't belong flooding in sideways. I was in a bed. Hospital lights overhead. Machines beeping. Tubes down my throat. My reflection standing in the corner, smiling. I died. Or some part of me had. And whatever came back, whatever had stepped into this life afterward, wasn't entirely me anymore. I stumbled into the kitchen, blind with panic, grabbed the nearest thing I could, a drawer full of utensils, and flung it across the room. Anything to feel real. Forks clattered across the floor, and the sound echoed wrong, like it bounced off something that wasn't there. Then my phone buzzed again. On the screen, "You have one voicemail." I never heard it ring. My hand hovered, trembling. I played it. It was Mike. Or whatever was pretending to be Mike. His voice was hoarse, unstable, like he was whispering from somewhere very far away, or very deep. "The house is always with you. It just hides when you forget. Then, if you go back down the spiral, you might make it out. But you have to finish the fall. And one last line, barely audible. The thing wearing your name is getting hungry. Then dead air. The lights flickered. I turned to the hallway. The nurse was gone. But where she had been, the air shimmered, bent inward, spiraling. Like the space was warping, folding in on itself. The spiral had opened again. Right there. In my apartment. And I understood what Mike meant. I hadn't escaped the house. I'd brought it home. I don't remember walking into it. One moment, I was staring at the warped air in my hallway. The next, I was back inside the spiral. Not the staircase. Not the house. Something beneath it. Everything was dark, but not black. The kind of dark that feels like it's made of something. Like it's pressing against your skin, trying to crawl inside. The floor wasn't solid anymore. It moved beneath my feet, pulsing like it was breathing with me, or for me. And there were sounds. Soft padding feet, claws against wet tile. Something circling just out of reach. Sometimes it growled. Sometimes it laughed. And sometimes, it whispered my name in my own voice. You're waking up wrong. I walked because I had no choice. The spiral pulled me, step after step, through a geometry that shouldn't have been possible. Angles that bent in on themselves. Hallways that led back into each other. Rooms shaped like thoughts instead of spaces. One wall was covered in mirrors. All of them showed different versions of me. Older, younger, injured, grinning, dead. Some pressed their palms to the glass. One of them mouthed something. I leaned close. He said, "You're the last one it needs." The lights overhead flickered red, then white, then nothing. And suddenly, I wasn't in the spiral anymore. I was in my apartment again. Mid-afternoon. Sunlight coming through the windows. TV on low volume. A sitcom laugh track playing. My phone buzzed with a work email. Normal. Too normal. Except, there was a woman sitting at my kitchen table, wearing nurse whites. Face blurred, like my eyes refused to focus on her. I blinked. She wasn't there. But her teacup was. Still steaming. And on the rim, a black fingerprint burned in. I stood. Slowly checked the bathroom. The mirror? Back to normal. No handprints. No reflection delay. My hallway? Empty. But taped to the back of my front door was a note, written in my own handwriting. Don't let the spiral close. It has to keep turning. And beneath that, if it stops, it remembers who it was. I don't know what that means. Not fully. But now, things are wrong in small ways. Sometimes I look in the mirror, and the reflection blinks too late. Sometimes my phone shows photos I didn't take, of me, sleeping. Sometimes I hear footsteps in the apartment above me. But no one lives there. Mike never called again. His number doesn't exist anymore. I sleep with the lights on. I don't dream. Or maybe I do, and just can't leave them. The spiral is still in me. Still moving. And every day, I feel something waking up inside the walls. If you're reading this, if you've seen the nurse, the dog, the spiral, don't ignore it. Don't try to escape. It wants you to run. Because when you run, you leave the door open. And that's how it gets out.